An alternative means of fastening a wide range of materials to masonry and steel is to use powder-actuated fastening tools. These tools are also called explosive-powered handheld fastening tools. Powder-actuated fastening tools, often shortened to PA tools, are designed to use specially manufactured drive pins and threaded studs. Drive pins are mainly used for fastening timber and light-gauge metals to concrete and steel. They are generally used for permanent fixtures. Threaded studs are used where removable fixings are required. There are two distinct types of powder-actuated fastening tools used around the world. These are direct-acting high-velocity tools and indirect-acting low-velocity tools. High-velocity powder-actuated tools were first introduced in Australia in the 1950s by Ramset. High-velocity tools are designed so that the energy contained within the power load is transferred directly to the fastener. These tools have a simple operating mechanism. However, due to the nature of this design, it is important to correctly determine the power required for a fixing, as any excess energy may cause the fastener to penetrate the fixture further than required. All high-velocity tools are produced with a large guard to protect the operator from possible ricochet of the fastener, and precise angle fire control to prevent the tool from being fired at more than 7 degrees from being perpendicular to the work surface. Guide marks are located on the safety shield to allow the operator to properly align the fastener position. The tool is fired via a trigger. In general, high-velocity tools are of a simple design that requires reloading of the drive pin and power load each time the tool is activated. Many high-velocity tools continue to be sold up until the turn of the century and can still be found in use on job sites across Australia. High-velocity tools have now been essentially superseded by new low-velocity piston-type tools. Low-velocity tools were first introduced in the late 1950s. Low-velocity tools are designed whereby the energy contained within a power load is transmitted to a captive piston, which in turn transfers the energy to the fastener. This design limits the velocity of the fastener to less than 100 meters per second and thus greatly reduces the possibility of overdriving the fastener. The majority of any excess energy is contained within the tool by means of the captive piston. There are now many different low-velocity tool models that range from simple single-shot tools to multiple-shot tools. In the case of multiple-shot tools, the power loads are collated in either a steel disc or a plastic strip.
Firing.
Low-velocity tool models also vary in the manner in which the captive piston is returned to the correct position for firing. Some tools return the piston as part of a manual cycling process,
Firing.
whilst other tools use an external mechanical steel spring.
Fire.
Or an engineered internal rubber spring. Fasteners are available for low-velocity tools separately or collated in strips of 10 for tools fitted with a fastener magazine. In most powder-actuated tools, the firing mechanism is activated by a trigger. Firing can only occur when the tool is cocked and pressed firmly against the work surface. When not in use, the power loads, which are commonly known as charges, must be stored safely in a lockable, dam-proof container that clearly indicates the words explosive charges. It is essential that operators who use these types of tools are not colorblind to ensure they can differentiate between the different strengths. Hard or brittle materials such as glazed bricks or tiles, marble, glass, slate, granite or high carbon steels should not have fasteners driven into them by this process, as shattering can occur. Never attempt to fasten onto pressurized vessels such as compressed gas cylinders. The tool must not be used in the presence of flammable or explosive gases, dust or vapor. Common materials that are suitable for powder-actuated fastenings include concrete and low-carbon steel. When working with powder-actuated fastening tools, Eye protection is essential. Safety glasses with side shields must be worn. Earmuffs or plugs must be worn. Safety boots are also required. Powder-actuated fastening tools are not toys. Never point the tool at yourself or any other person. This rule applies even if you think the tool is not loaded. When the tool is being operated, keep all parts of your body clear of the lower front area where the fasteners are being driven. It is of prime importance that operators of these tools be conversant with the manufacturer's instructions with regard to loading, firing, and maintenance of the tool. Powder-actuated fastening tools should not be used by persons under 18 years of age. Operators must also be aware of state government regulations governing the use of these tools and must hold an accredited operator certificate where required. The tools should only be used for the purpose for which they are designed. Never depress the tool against your hand or any other part of your body. Only ever depress the tool against the work surface.
Firing.
Do not throw the tool onto the ground or use it as a hammer. Care should be taken to avoid driving fasteners through existing holes or close to the edges and corners of brick and concrete, as this could cause the material to shatter. The tool should not be loaded until it is at the area where it is to be used. It then should not be loaded until immediately prior to fastening. Do not lay down or carry around a loaded tool. Always unload the tool before moving to another location or when its use is no longer required. The Australian standard for powder-actuated tools requires that all tools be serviced at least once every 12 months by an authorised service centre. If a misfire occurs, the tool must be held firmly against the work surface for a minimum of 10 seconds. When the tool is removed, the power load should be then extracted. If the power load is jammed, do not attempt to prise it clear. If the power load cannot be removed, the tool should be locked in its case and returned to an approved powder-actuated tool service centre. Any indented power load which is not fired should not be used again. When the tool is not in use, it must be unloaded and placed in a lockable case or container. The container should then be stored in a safe place where only authorised persons have access. Operating powder-actuated tools. Before operating a powder-actuated fastening tool, check that the tool does not contain any live power loads or fasteners. It should be tested to ensure that it is functioning correctly. Press the tool against the work surface and pull the trigger. Listen for the click of the firing pin dropping. Repeat this test for a number of times to check consistency. Prior to and during firing of the tool, an approved warning sign should be displayed at or near all entrances to the place the tool is being used. Operating a low-velocity tool. To cycle the tool shown, hold the front barrel by the rubber grip provided. Slide the barrel assembly forward firmly until it reaches the barrel stop. The piston is returned within the barrel during this forward movement. To close the tool, the barrel assembly is pushed back until the closed position is reached. With the tool in the closed position, the power load strip can now be inserted in the hole provided in the base of the rubber handle. Double check that the power load is of the correct strength. Push the strip in until the flat of your finger is firmly against the handle. The first power load is now aligned with the power load chamber. Insert the fastener head first into the muzzle of the fastener guide. Adjust the power of the tool as required. The tool is now ready to be fired. Press the tool firmly against the work surface at a 90-degree angle. Keeping the tool perpendicular to the work surface reduces the possibility of ricochets. Hold the tool securely with a well-balanced stance so as to counteract any recoil of the tool. Make the firing call and pull the trigger. To further eliminate ricochets and deflections when the tool is fired, special spall shields or guards should be attached at the muzzle end of the tool when possible. With this tool, the spent power load is removed from the tool automatically as part of the opening and closing sequence. The opening of the tool resets the power load index lever and the strip is lifted by the closing of the tool, bringing a fresh power load to the chamber. Operating a high-velocity tool. To operate the tool shown, lift and hinge open the tool. Then remove the breech plug and check that the barrel is clear. Insert the fastener. Point first into the barrel using finger pressure. Then replace the breech plug and insert a cartridge into the breech plug. Then close the tool. The tool is now loaded and ready for use. Press the tool firmly against the work surface at a 90-degree angle. Keeping the tool perpendicular to the work surface reduces the possibility of ricochets. Hold the tool securely with a well-balanced stance so as to counteract any recoil of the tool. Make the firing call and pull the trigger.
Firing.
In this high-velocity tool, the spent power load must be manually removed. If required, the strength of a power load can be reduced in a high-velocity tool by using the power positioning rod. The power positioning rod is used to adjust the position of the fastener within the barrel. The power is reduced the further down the barrel the pin is positioned. Selecting the power load. Of great importance to the successful setting of fasteners is selection of the correct power load. Each power load contains a specific type and quantity of explosive that relates to the relative strength of the power load. The relative strength of the power load is clearly marked with a color coding and a description on the box along with a list of tools for which the power loads are suitable. To determine the most appropriate power load for a fixing, begin by using the weakest strength and minimum power setting. Then, gradually increase power and load strength to obtain the optimum fixing. The Australian standard for colour coding of the power loads is grey, minimum; brown, very weak; green, weak; yellow, medium; blue, medium strong; red, strong; purple, very strong; white, especially strong; black, maximum. However, the most commonly available colours or strengths are green, yellow and red. Powder actuated fasteners. The primary objective of powder actuated fastening tools is to safely and efficiently set a fastener firmly and securely into a specific material or materials. The fasteners are specifically designed to be used with these types of tools, and a wide range of pins and studs are available to suit many applications. All fasteners include a plastic guidance tip. This tip centers the fastener in the barrel and ensures that the fastener remains in the correct position until being fired. Just as it is important to select the correct power load, it is equally important to select the most appropriate fastener for a given application. The following examples will help in making the correct selection. Fixing to concrete. When selecting a drive pin, the overall shank length of the pin should be the thickness of the material to be fastened, plus 6 to 8 times the shank diameter of the drive pin. When using a threaded stud, the thread length must allow for the material thickness to be attached, plus an allowance for the nut and washer. To avoid withdrawal of threaded studs, care should be taken not to over-tighten the nut. When fixing to concrete or masonry, which must be at least 100 mm thick, fasteners should not be driven closer than 75 mm to an edge or another fastener. Fixing to steel. When selecting a drive pin or stud, the overall shank length of the fastener should include the thickness of the material to be fastened, plus the thickness of the steel, plus 6 mm to ensure that the point of the fastener extends right through the materials. When fixing to steel, which must be at least 4 mm thick, fasteners should not be driven closer than 13 mm to an edge or closer than 25 mm to another fastener. When fixing to steel that is more than 8 mm thick, the required length is calculated by adding 12 mm to the fixture thickness. Certain applications require a fastener to be fired through a disc. These discs are used when fastening soft materials such as timber, light gauge metals and non-metals. The disc provides the fastener with a larger head and increases its bearing area. Powder actuated fastening tools can be great time and energy savers, providing you use the tool safely and correctly.
Firing.
Ramset. Find us online at www.ramset.com.au or telephone our customer service centre on 1300 780 063.